Hi dancers. So let's go ahead and let's discuss the importance of the correct alignment of the feet. We spent a lot of time in class talking about the correct alignment of the body and posture and where your feet are in that alignment of the posture when they're flat. Now we're going to go ahead and we're going to talk about what is the correct posture or what is the correct shape of the foot when you are moving. When you're saying tanduing or elevating up onto 3/4 point or even jumping into the air. So we need to talk about that because it is very specific where those feet need to be so that the body can stay in alignment as well. And that way it can allow you to absorb shock correctly when you land out of a releve or out of a saute, a jump. It can help. It helps strengthen the feet and the muscles in the ankles and the hips and in the back and all of those things. Okay, so it's very important that we know the shape of the foot. Also, there's an aesthetic factor to this, an aesthetic factor that we need to really think about, and we'll discuss that as well. So first of all, we talked about the feet, right? Our regular posture and where the weight needs to be on the foot. So remember, we have those 4 points on the bottom of the foot, right? We have right here in between the second and third toe. We have right here on the outside of the big toe. We have right here on the outside underneath the little toe. And then we have right perfectly in the center of the heel. Remember, it's not in the center of the pad of the shoe because this is actually made from when you point or when you go up on releving a full point. This slides up so that now it's directly underneath your heel. So that's why this is always a little bit off when you try them on. All right, so find the very center of the heel. All right, so we know those 4 points need to be on the floor at all times. So how do you do that? You feel those 4 points, you widen the toes, right? So you give yourself a nice base to stand on. And that's going to pertain to you when you're going just up to 3/4 point or half toe, or when you're pushing off to get into the air because you use all the muscles of those toes and you want them engaged and working. So once we have that idea, right, we're going to use those 4 points. If we're using all those 4 points, remember again, it keeps you from rolling in or rolling out over the foot. So we need to keep everything right in the middle. Let me check my notes to make sure I didn't miss anything. Oh, now we also know when we're standing on our feet, we know that we have about 70% of the weight is on this triangle right here, right? The top or the front of the foot, the ball foot, and weight in pad of every single toe. Even if your little pinky toe doesn't reach the floor, it's still got to be reaching out there and trying to press down, right? That's how we engage all the muscles around that fifth metatarsal of the foot. So you want to make sure that that's really engaged and working. So from there, so we know we've got about 70% there and about 30% on the back of the heel. This allows you, with the weight being forward, allows you to move very quickly for doing petite allegros or to change positions very quickly, change directions. It also allows for balance because you're primarily already on balance. You're already on the 3/4 point. So all you have to do is lift the heels and you're already there. You only have to shift a little bit over and up to find that balance. It also helps you when you land a jump because we always want to land toe ball heel so that we're rolling through the foot, all right, so that we don't hurt or jar any joints. So next what we want to do is the shape of the foot. What we want to work on is the flag of the foot. So the thing is you all know what it means if I say to sickle a foot, right? So if I'm here, if I pull my toe in towards my midline here, then I'm sickled. All right. Now, if I go here, the flag is exactly opposite. So if I'm here and I reach my little toe, and I try to reach the outside of my shin or my calf right here, then my foot is flagged. All right. That's where we want your foot to be at all times, even when you're just standing. So from right here, again, big toe into the midline is a sickle, right? Outer heel goes away. To flag the foot or turn out the foot, we actually physically want to take the little toe out, inner heel goes forward, right? If I'm in parallel, the inner heel is going to my midline. If I'm turned out like this, then my inner heel is going to the front of me if I was standing on my foot, okay? So that is the shape of your foot that you want no matter what it is that you're doing in class at all times. So I'm going to go ahead and move the computer down and we're going to work on that a little bit. Just show you through an elevate and through a saute. and then this will be over. So starting from right here, looking at the feet. So even though I'm standing flat, I've got all 4 points, center of my heel, the triangle in the front, pads of all the toes pressing down into the floor. I'm rotated from the tops of my thighs, so my inner heels are going forward, and I'm thinking, even as I'm standing, I'm trying to bring my little toes out away from my midline. That's what's going to help hold the turn out. Now from right here, as I rise up, I'm going to think inner heels going forward and little toes brushing the floor and wrapping to the back. So I'm going to go up, out. Good. And as I lower down, I'm going to track the same way. If I do this from the side so you can see it here, if here's my first position, I'm going to still think little toes moving out, inner thighs are rotated from the hip, and inner heels are going forward. So I'm going to go up. Oops, I'm falling over, sorry, that's not part of it. And then I'm going to lower down. What we don't want to do is go this way, right? We don't want to go here, because now no longer, if we picked up our foot would be in that sickle. So we need to keep remembering it's rotating out and up the whole time. So from right here, rotate out, toes are wide. Make sure you feel that whole triangle on the floor, all the pads of the toes. And as we come down, I feel all the pads of the toes on the floor still, and then I settle the center of my heel on the floor, 70% on the front part of my foot and only 30% on the back. Now the same thing is going to happen when you jump. So if I'm here, I would go here, inner heel is going forward. It's really easy when you jump and you press off of the floor to let the heel go back. It's really easy to do this, or it's easy just to go here. Right? You're thinking inner heels forward and you're like, oh, they're there. But you forgot to still pull that little toe to the back of you or lift the little toe to the calf. So even when you jump here, think inner heel forward, little toe back. It's got to stay that way when you land. All right? If you let go of the heel, you're going to roll back here. That's dangerous for the ankle here. Or if you're here and you keep forgetting about the little toe, then you can go this way, okay? We don't want that knee going in front. Knee, cap, always in line with the second and third toe. All those points on the floor. So if you're landing and you're rolling, right, we need to fix that. And we do that by keeping the turnout and the posture of the foot. And then we stretch up. So your saute should be here, right? If I'm here, and then come down. Knees are still nice and open. And then we stretch up. The other thing and the other part that we want to talk about is what the point of the foot is, okay? Typically when we talk about the point of the foot, people want to curl their toes. Point of the toe, or the point of the foot, has nothing to do with curling of the toes. The toes need to stay long, all right? So if I'm here, so I get my foot in there, I don't want to curl my toes down this way. The toes actually extend out. And they extend out from the first arch. The first arch is the top of the foot. This arch underneath here, this is what a shoe salesman, right? Or this is what, when they're selling tennis shoes and they're talking about your arch and arch supports. Podiatrists, this is what they're talking about. Ballet, we're talking about this. We're talking about the top of the foot. This is the first arch. All right. So anytime we're talking about that, yes, they may talk about the bottom arch for whatever reason, but typically, especially if they're talking shoes and stuff like that with you. But if you're in class, first arch is this. All right. So the toes should be long. It's easier to see without my shoe on. Forgive my dirty foot. But from right here, so we don't want to curl the toes this way. We want the toes to be long. That way, the line of the leg keeps carrying on. Because some people can really curl their toes. If you do that, it takes your line and it drops down the bottom, right? So you don't want to do that. We want everything to be that idea of length. So we're going to reach the toes long from this first arch and carry that on. All right. So even as we did that elevate and we rose up, or we did that saute, whenever whenever anybody says point your foot, what they're meaning is that means reach with the top of your foot. So if I'm here, I'm going to reach with the top of my foot. So I'm going to reach this out. All right. So if I'm doing it, I'm going to reach with the top of my foot and reach my toes long. If I jump up, I'm going to reach out with the top arch of my foot and then come back down. All right. If you jump up and you curl your toes and you don't get down in time, guess what? You're going to land on them, right? So when you jump up, heel, ball, toe, reach out. This is the arch reaching out there. That way you can catch yourself to catch that floor and to come back. And as soon as you come to here, you can roll right down to find those 3 points right away. Every pad of every toe, those 3 points of the triangle, and the center of the foot. All right, so those are kind of the specifics that we're really going to be working on. We spend a lot of time talking about the placement of the body because it's integral for doing the movements, but so is turning the shape of the foot and keeping the foot turned out as well. All right, it's not something you do every day. There's really not a lot in life that you do where you walk with your feet like that. So this takes practice. You're just going to have to sit and practice. If you are watching TV, if you are doing something, sit down, put your foot up like this, right? You can hold it here, flexed, point it, reach the little toe long here, take it back to center here, or take it here and hold it, and then bring back your toes, flex your foot, press through and out. Just make sure, do it in front of a mirror so that you make sure that that little toe is continually reaching away from that midline and the heel is going forward. All right. Thank you. This is your lecture for this week. And yeah, have a nice night, everyone.